Atlanta, Georgia, capital of the South and home to some of the best baseball in America. 30 minutes to the north, immaculate LakePoint Sports in Emerson, Georgia, where after 407 games this week, we're down to the final two teams. It's the Prep Baseball Report 16 and under national championship game. Aces National out of Freeport, Florida, taking on Team Francisco Notorious 9 out of Farmingdale, New York. And good afternoon, I'm Matt Stewart, joined by former Georgia Bulldogs All-SEC catcher, assistant coach, and three-time minor league all-star Jason Jacobson. Jason, we started with 154 teams, invitation only, chock full of college and pro baseball future talent, and this championship final will be a magnification of this tournament.
Yeah, I've been very impressed to this point with the talent level of these rising sophomores and rising juniors, not just from the eye test and seeing them out there on the field, but even from the metrics of velocity, spin rate, exit velocity off the bat. A lot of good talent out here, and we're going to crown a champion.
Well, you talk about the tournament grind. Both these teams are 8-0. They went 5-0 in pool play, and both of these teams have had to win 3 games in the last 24 hours to get to this championship game.
Baseball being that game of attrition, these boys have really been tested here. You mentioned that, but not only that, in Atlanta, late June, weather's a factor, so it's a bit hot. These guys are really going to have to dig deep here to put out their best performance here for the championship.
Noon start, going to be cooking, should be a lot of fun. It's the PBR 16 and under national championship game. The opening pitch is coming up next.
It started with a simple idea: to break what the game knows, to evolve the standard. It's time to revolutionize defense. Printed in 4D for a breakthrough in technology. Ultra lightweight, resilient, form fit, game ready and pro tested. Designed for a revolution, engineered for defense. The Rev 1X.
Next. Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one.
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Back at LakePoint Sports in Emerson, Georgia, just about set for the PBR 16 and under national championship game as Team Francisco takes on Aces National. And Jason, this is an Aces National team that is loaded with future college baseball talent. They have 7 major commitments on their team, 5 of them from the Southeastern Conference.
And what's so impressive to me is how local this team has. Their players are made up of just about a 60-mile radius separates them. It's kind of a local team put together, been together for going on 4 years now. Have played together and grown together as teams, and like you mentioned, a lot of talent from a small area.
The right-hander Charlie Wilcox will be on the mound for Aces National, 6'3", 205. 2025 class out of Santa Rosa Beach and South Walton High School, and he can bring it up there 90 miles per hour with over 2,346 on the spin rate.
Yeah, really impressive at this young age to be able to hit that number of 90 so early on. Good frame around him as well. You talk about the curveballs, about 70 to 75, a slider 67, 68. So, working on some of those pitches, developing them, but really immense talent on the mound to start the game.
We were talking to head coach Michael Chambers, and his out pitch is the split finger, so we'll be watching for that today.
Yeah, really interesting about that split finger. It's a pitch you kind of learn later on, but here developing it very early on, a pitch that he really likes. Swing and miss, and not a lot of spin rate on it, which is kind of interesting. Everyone talks about that spin rate being higher. You actually want it to be lower on that split finger so it dives below the batter.
It's really kind of like a knuckleball.
Yeah, it really does. It comes out, just kind of slips out of your fingers, and then dives there late.
Charlie Wilcox, the number 39 rated right-handed pitcher in the state of Florida in the class of 2025 by Prep Baseball Report. The Windscreen Factory field dimensions here. LakePoint Sports, it's 320 down the line, it's 365 in the alleys, and it's 385 at dead center.
Yeah, pretty average size high school field. We're going to get it a little bit bigger at the college level. But a good, nice symmetrical ballpark. Plays pretty fair, I think, to all sides. There's no real home field advantage, nothing awkward about it. So good dimensions here, and we're ready to play some ball.
Team Francisco, Notorious 9-8-0 in this tournament, averaged right at 8 runs per game, gave up less than 3 runs per game, and wiped out the number 1 seed, the Bell Ringers out of Philadelphia, 12-0 in their semifinal matchup this morning. And the first hitter is number 44, Joseph Castro, the center fielder. Castro, 5'10", 170 pounds, class of 2025, out of Melville, New York, and Half Hollow Hills East High School. Here's the 1-1 pitch.
Good breaking ball right there.
Right at 73 miles per hour with the breaking ball, and he's ahead in the count 1-2. Hit down the line in left field, going to be caught near the line by Pasolini. Out number 1. So Castro retired to start the game. That'll bring up the extra hitter, Tyler Cook. Number 55 steps to the plate, 5'10", 165 pounds. He's a rising senior in the class of 2024. Wilcox with the kick and fire, fastball outside, maybe 81 mile per hour on this pitch, so maybe not a fastball.
Yeah, there's the fastball right there, 87. Took a little something off of that last one. Might have been a little bit of a changeup or maybe a BP fastball. You put your fingers together a little bit closer to the ball, had a little bit extra sink, and you saw the slower spin rate as well.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2-1 with the missed fastball. Cook is out of Holy Trinity in Glenwood Landing, New York. Count goes 3-1.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion on the count there. I believe Wilcox thought he had 2 strikes there with that breaking ball.
3-1 pitch, and that's going to be ball 4 and a 5-pitch walk. Tyler Cook becomes the first base runner for Team Francisco.
Yeah, we mentioned some of that attrition there. You see the fastball velocity, 87, 88, only 90. He hasn't even touched 92, but not his first time pitching here this week. So, again, not going to see those numbers quite as high. We're going to see these guys really have to compete and dig deep.
Here's number 35, Robert Ortiz, the number 3 hitter in the order, and batting in the DH spot. Ortiz has had a big bat for the team out of Long Island, New York this week. Batting .474, 9 for 19 in the tournament. Pitch over his head. And it's 1-1.
Breaking ball left arm side there. Fell off the mound, fell a little bit away from his arm. It usually has the opposite effect to the pitch. Fell to the first base side, pitch stayed on the third base side.
Ortiz has driven in 10 runs in the tournament. Takes a strike. Count goes 1-2 to Ortiz.
I like that right there, coming back again with the breaking ball, staying on a good direction and executing the pitch to get ahead in the count.
Ortiz, 6'2", 185, class of 2024 out of Brentwood, New York High School. Strikes him out. 74 on the gun. And there's 2 down in the inning.
Yeah, caught him fishing there. Again, it's kind of an arm side breaking ball. Got away with one, really. Was able to get Cook to chase after it. Or, excuse me, Ortiz to chase after it for the second out.
Brings up the number 4 hitter, Philip Mazzola. 2025 catcher out of St. James, New York, and St. Anthony's. There's a strike to Mazzola.
And to this point, great breaking ball command out of Wilcox. I can rear back and really run up the fastball, and all of a sudden you show that you can throw that breaking ball, the off-speed stuff for a strike. Really gets in the hitter's head a little bit.
Ball bounces away from the catcher. That will allow the runner to advance to second.
And catcher Sam Summerlin there did a good job to keep it close, keep it in front, I should say, just not quite close enough to hold the runner there.
Pitch outside. Count 1-1.
And I think it was fun watching some of these younger guys play. You can see Wilcox here really kind of looking at the runner as he's going into his delivery a little bit, but with 2 outs, you got to trust your defense here. Go after that batter. All you got to do is get that last out and do some soft contact. I think it's a little more important, and that might be what Summerlin's out there to talk to him about, is just keeping his focus there at the plate, not finding himself in a disadvantaged count where he's going to give something good to hit to the hitter in Mazzola.
Infield for Aces National, Summerlin behind the plate, Saxton at first, Wells at second, Howard at short, and Collins at third, McCorkle, Davis, and Jersey in the outfield left to right. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Wilcox, hit in the air over on the right side. Saxton, the first baseman, over by the fence, can't get to it. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now to the number 4 hitter, Ortiz batting with Cook down at second base in scoring position.
Again, going to that breaking ball right there, leaving it a little bit up in arm side. Mazzola just a little bit tardy on it. I think that was a good pitch to hit right there and drive in a run.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Cook down at second base. Wilcox trying to get out of this early trouble in the top of the first. That ball is driven to left field. It's going to get over the head of the left fielder and bounce off the fence. Cook is going to score, and Team Francisco takes a 1-0 lead on the RBI double by Philip Mazzola.
A great job there by Mazzola making the adjustment. Got a breaking ball kind of up and arm side in his last pitch. A fastball this time. He recognizes it right off the bat. Looks just like that breaking ball started. And he's able to get the head out to it. Pound that into left field. That was about 315 or so feet.
We'll have a pinch runner for Mazzola. Villela is going to pinch run for him at second base, but that was the 11th RBI for Mazzola in this tournament. And it brings up Pasolini, the left fielder.
I guess that's why he's hitting in the 4-hole, huh?
I think so.
Getting a lot of those RBIs. There's something about that.
He's batting 500 in the tournament now, 10 for 20. What a tournament for Philip Mazzola. Wilcox looks back at the runner, comes to the plate, swing and a miss by Pasolini. Count goes 0-2 to Pasolini, 5'7", 175, class of 2024. He's out of Farmingdale, New York High School, and rated the number 56 outfielder in New York in the senior class by PBR. Swing and a miss, and Wilcox gets his second strikeout of the inning, but not before Team Francisco strikes first on the RBI double by Philip Mazzola. We'll head to the bottom half with Francisco on top of Aces National by a score of 1-0. Our Corey McCartney caught up with the coaches in their pregame fire-ups earlier in the tournament.
We're here, and we also be very grateful because there's a lot of kids that would love to be right here where you are.
Hey, listen, hey, chance to get better today. All right, play with a lot of energy. All right, let's compete at a high level. You got me?
We have some fun, okay? Great venue. Link, fill it up on the mound. Okay, let's win a game. Let's go.
Continue to do what you guys do best. Play hard, play scrappy. Let's go to work right now.
Let's go, boys! Come on in! Roll 1, 2, 3, run!
Come on, right here. 0 on 3. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Sucks.
All right, let's get it. Let's go. Let's go. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Win.
Back in Emerson, Georgia, LakePoint Sports, and Team Francisco has jumped out to a 1-0 lead on Aces National here in the 16 and under PBR National Championship game. And now our first chance to see the Aces grab the bats. They'll be facing Jordan Welch, 6'2", 190, rising senior class of 2024 out of Farmingdale, New York High School.
Yeah, Welch got another good fastball there, mid-80s, 2,100 on the spin rate. 71 to 73 on the curveball, changeup 73 to 74. So three-pitch mix guy. Again, with some of that attrition weighing in here, I'm not sure we'll see him up to that 85-mile-an-hour mark, but commanding the fastball opens everything up. Got some serious hitters to face here in the Aces. Definitely look good at the plate, and a couple of prospects, and he's going to come out the gate with a couple of them in Davis, Howard, and Wells. So a tough three to face here going into this bottom half of the inning with the lead, of course.
And Jordan Welch is rated by Prep Baseball Report as a position player. He's actually the number 6 ranked third baseman in the state of New York in the class of 2024. But on the hill, that's one of the great things about these type of tournaments. You got to have two-way players.
Yeah, you got to love it too. I mean, these guys doing it on both ends. Eventually, maybe they'll have to pick one. You know, you got that fad kind of opening back up again with what Shohei Ohtani's doing. Two ways, that's just incredibly difficult.
And of course, Jack Caglianone, who did that at the collegiate level here with the Florida Gators. And his teammate, actually, Hurston Waldrop, came up through the Aces National program.
And that's a big reason for that split finger that Wilcox has as well.
Here's John Davis leading off the bottom of the first for Aces National. He's actually out of South Georgia, played at Tift County High School, and he's a rising junior there with the Blue Devils. 5'10", 155 in the class of 2025. He's the number 5 rated outfielder in the state of Georgia by PBR for the class of 2025. 1-1 pitch is hit towards the gap and towards the wall. It's going to bounce off the base of the wall and kicks back towards the infield. And Davis is going to turn this into a sliding triple. What a start for the Aces here in the bottom of the first inning with a sliding triple by the speedy John Davis to get things set up for this inning.
It's always a good way to answer back right there. A leadoff triple, 95 on the exit velocity. Got every bit of that 84-mile-an-hour fastball from Welsh. So a good start there. Has really been swinging a good bat, and you saw the wheels right there getting the triple off the fortunate bounce for the Aces off the fence.
That brings Gavin Howard to the plate. John Davis now with his 21st hit. 6 extra base hits for this Aces National team during this season. And this is a team that's been together since 13 and under. They played together a long time. And one of the things that Coach Michael Chambers said is, you know, the message to his team coming into this final was, you know, play for the team, not for yourself.
Yeah.
Which sometimes can be a little bit of a difficult concept in this style of baseball. But convincing the players to do that, and you can see how it's paid off for them playing here in the national championship game.
Yeah, baseball is one of those tricky sports where it's a team game of a bunch of individuals.
And Gavin Howard draws the walk, so something brewing here for the Aces National. They got runners at the corners and nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning, in the heart of the order coming to the plate.
Yeah, not the start you definitely wanted from Welsh. I think getting off a leadoff triple like that can tend to get you out of the zone a little bit. Get a little barrel shy at that point, but you got to trust your stuff. You're there for a reason. Definitely has a pretty good stuff, just has to locate a little bit better here to start.
Brings Frank Wells to the plate. 5'10", 175, class of 2025 out of Inlet Beach, Florida. Another South Walton High School kid and a middle infielder playing second base for the Aces today. And there's a strike one from Welch. Good look at the base runners right there from behind first base. Oh, 1 pitch. Line drive into right field, base hit. That's going to tie the game. Davis scores easily, heading to third base, and they've got runners at first and third. They keep handing the bat to the next guy, and it's a 1-1 game.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there from Wells. Got a breaking ball up in the zone. Didn't try and do too much with it. Just served it backside over the second baseman's head out there. Guaranteed the RBI, and now they're working first and third again, so kind of continuing that trend.
They've reset the table. Here's Sam Summerlin, the catcher. Runners at the corners. He sends the first pitch down the line over on the third base side and unable to get to it as it falls out of play. The third baseman, Hancock. And the count goes 0-1 to Summerlin, but a great start to this game for Aces National. First three guys have reached. Davis starts the game with a triple. Howard walks. Wells follows with a single, and we're tied at 1. Pitch outside, and it's 1-1.
And you mentioned that team mentality being something kind of rare to see in travel ball. You got a lot of guys from different places. I think it's really cool to see two teams making it to the championship. We talked to both of their coaches, and both of them mentioned that these guys have been playing together, the core of the team, 3-4 years now. So I think that's a contributing factor to their success. And I think the more games you play, you know, everyone's trying to get to that next level. They're here to be seen, and the facilities here are fantastic from that standpoint to get these guys shown. A lot of different pro scouts, college scouts here, so that's wonderful. But I think the longer you play, the more you get to showcase your talent. That takes winning. So I think that team mentality really helps you as an individual.
Stolen base by Wells, so now second and third. Mazzola did not even attempt the throw with the runner Howard down at third base. So now two in scoring position and still nobody out for Aces here in the bottom of the first.
And you got a left-handed batter in Summerlin. All he has to do is hit a nice, easy ground ball to the right side, gets a run in, gets a guy over.
Here's the 3-1 pitch to Summerlin in a hitter's count. A swing and a miss at the 85 and a spin rate of 1,800 plus.
Yeah, a little bit of sink there on that fastball at the top of the zone. Pitch right there. You got to be ready for it in that hitter's count. You're looking to pull the ball anyway.
So full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Welch trying to get out of early trouble here in the first. And a swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Welch with 2 aboard, and there's 1 down in the inning.
Huge strikeout. Reared back and went with the old number 1. Got him, saw him that he was late on the 3-1. Knowing that it's coming, went right back to it. Really like that pitch selection there from Welch, and a good fastball to boot.
Here's Brady Saxton as he steps to the plate. Bats left, throws left. We saw him pitch in the previous game, the victory over Sheets Baseball out of Louisiana, their semifinal victory about an hour ago. Saxton, 5'11", 178, class of 2025. He's out of Brandon, Mississippi, and Northwest Rankin High School. But you mentioned it, most of these players on this Aces national team out of the panhandle of Florida, and that was one of the things that Coach Chambers talked about with us, is they kind of have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, feel like the panhandle gets overlooked sometimes, and as a collective group wanted to show the country that they could play some ball in the panhandle.
And they definitely can. I think they got a lineup chock full of prospects, guys already committed to D1 colleges, big-time programs as well.
So 2 balls and a strike to Brady Saxton. He's the number 5 rated outfielder in Mississippi for the class of 2025 by PBR and the number 26 overall player in the state. Pitch outside. 2 balls and a strike. 1 run already in for Aces here in the first. That's going to be ball 4, bases loaded. And we do have activity down in the bullpen for Team Francisco right now as head coach Christopher Sipp out of the dugout. We'll see if he makes the pitching change right here. But we talked about it off the top, the grind, and in particular the grind as it relates to your pitching.
Yeah, always tough. I mean, these guys, they don't have the luxury of just pitching and going and sitting in the dugout afterwards. Typically, you talked about being the two-way player. They get done pitching. They got to go play a position somewhere. Most of the time, they're in the lineup as well. So not quite to that PO status of pitcher only. These guys are usually wearing 2 hats out here And it has been a long grind.
So bases loaded for the number 6 hitter, Darian Collins. And a chance for Aces National to kind of put some separation between themselves and Team Francisco here in the first inning. Still just one out, and that's ball one.
Going with that breaking ball early, maybe trying to find a little bit of a release point there, as he was missed with the fastball on the 2-1 and 3-1.
1 ball, no strikes. Collins at the plate, bases loaded, and there's a strike. 1-1, 84 on the pitch.
Good job there getting the hand out front. Got a little late action back over the plate as well to get the outside corner.
1 ball, 1 strike. Fouled off in the count now 1-2. I believe it's Luke Villela who's warming up in the bullpen for Team Francisco. He pinch ran in the top half of the first. Got to be able to do everything.
You got to do it all. You got to wear all the hats you can.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Welch. Time is called by Collins. Welch is 1 strike away from getting the second out of this inning. Bases loaded for Aces National. And the 1-2 pitch. Back up the middle, base hit. That's going to score 1. Here comes another. Throw's going to be cut off. It's a 2-run single for Darian Collins, and Aces National takes a 3-1 lead.
Another good disciplined swing right there, back against the wall. 1-2 count. Gets a fastball, stays a little middle. And Welch gets the ground ball. You had mentioned 1 pitch away from getting the second out, also 1 pitch away from maybe getting that inning-ending double play. But Collins comes through in the clutch right there.
Here's Skylar Jersey. The number 7 hitter in the order for Aces National. He's out of Winter Park, Florida. Just recently moved from the Panhandle to the Orlando area. A rising junior in the class of 2025. Jersey, the number 19 rated outfielder in Florida in the class of 2025 by PBR. 6 foot 190, 2 aboard here. 2 runs just came in on the base hit by Collins. The inning started with a triple by John Davis off the base of the right field fence. Aces National yesterday won their 2 quarterfinal games by a combined 19-3.
Yeah, this is top to bottom, a really strong lineup. You can see here Welch, after giving up a couple of hits that he has fallen behind in the count, something he definitely wants to work on. Is just continuing to challenge that strike zone. Got good stuff. You see the movement there on an 85-mile-an-hour fastball coming back over the plate. Got the soft ground ball, just wasn't at anybody. That's 5-6 feet either direction. Might be a double play. So pitching well to this point. Just the big hit to lead off the inning from Davis, who's a great hitter.
3-1 pitch, hit foul over on the right side. First base coach Sean McCorkle unable to make the play. So 2 aboard with 3 in. Collins down at first following his 2-run single, and Saxton at second following his walk. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Skylar Jersey at the plate. Payoff pitch. Hit to the first baseman. He'll take the play at the bag in front of him. And now there's 2 down as everybody advances 90 feet.
Yeah, good job there by Lynch. Looked to maybe throw it to second there to get the lead runner, but I think wisely put that in his pocket early on in the game here. Take that out. Give Welsh a little bit of confidence up there. Gets another soft ground ball, so good job to make sure of an out there.
Here's Cooper Moss, man. This guy is dangerous. Don't be fooled by the fact he's batting 8th in the order. He's the highest rated prospect. So take a look at the runners, second and third. Collins now at second, and Jersey after the ground out. Saxon's at third. Saw Cooper Moss pitch yesterday. He was bringing it at 95 in that quarterfinal on this field.
A very impressive young man here. Like you said, don't be fooled by him hitting so far down in the order. Really swings a good bat, has a great presence there in the box as well.
6'3", 217. Big, solid young man. 1-1 pitch. Hit off the end of the bat. Count now 1-2. He's out of Panama City Beach, Florida, Arnold High School. He's committed to the Florida Gators. National finalist who fell to LSU in the National Championship Series. The #1 rated right-handed pitcher in Florida, number 12 rated right-handed pitcher in the entire country for the class of 2025. But batting here is the DH, playing DH in this game. Fouls that one out of play. And that's one of the things that Coach Chambers talked to us about. Moss has been with him since day one, going back to the 13 and under, really protective of the arms.
Yeah, I think that's great too at this level. I mean, these guys, all the information's out there, and I think them taking care of their players the way they do, that attracts better players, and you really see organizations grow.
Strikeout to end the inning as Welch finally puts an end to the rally with an 83-mile-per-hour pitch. But 8 men bat for Aces National. They push 3 across, and as we head to the second, it's a 3-1 lead for Aces National. Top of the second inning at LakePoint Sports, Emerson, Georgia, the PBR 16 and under national championship game where Aces National out of Freeport, Florida has jumped out to a 3-1 lead on Team Francisco Notorious 9, the complete title for the team out of Farmingdale, New York. And we see TF Team Francisco grab the bats here at the top of the second, and this is the number 6 hitter in the order, Tyler Lynch. And 10 in the batting order because they're using the extra hitter in this game as well. Tyler Lynch goes after the second pitch, strokes it well to center field, going back near the track. And it's hauled in center field by Davis, and there's one down. But nice wood on the ball by Tyler Lynch.
Yeah, Davis getting the triple to lead off the bottom half of the first. Showing a little bit of speed and range right there, playing a little bit shallow. 90 mile-an-hour exit velocity off the bat there. That ball just kept carrying. So a good job at staying with that, keeping it in front of him. So flashing the leather a little bit in the outfield is Davis, as well as the wood at the plate.
There's head coach Christopher Sipp. Coach has been with him. This is his 3rd year coaching this outfit. Joseph Tagliavia at the plate. And there's a strike. Count goes 1-1 to Tagliavia.
Good breaking ball right there. Looked like Wilcox slowed down a little bit, let that arm work. His body's been a little bit too quick. Another good breaking ball follows it up. You look at the spin rate on that at 2,300 revolutions per minute, I should say. So both of them right around the same.
Tagliavia strikes it well to right field for a base hit. That'll be a man aboard here. Second hit of the game for Team Francisco. Nice piece of hitting by Tagliavia.
After those two breaking balls to get ahead, a good fastball there at 87 miles per hour. Nice piece of hitting to stay inside. I like the pitch sequence out of Wilcox. Tagliavia just a little bit better right there. Gets his hit to right field.
Here's the number 8 hitter, Evan Kay, the right fielder. And ball 1 to Kay. Out of Comac, New York High School, 6 foot, 200 pounds. Rising senior class of 2024. This is a 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. One ball, one strike to Kay, who's rated the number 32 right-handed pitcher in the state of New York by PBR class of 2024, but playing right field in this championship game. Breaking ball buried in the artificial turf, the Shaw Sports turf, and, you know, most of these kids are now accustomed to playing on this type of a field. You got to get used to the bounciness.
Yeah, it's a little bit different from your traditional turf. I think sometimes, you know, we watched a couple of games, I think sometimes you can kind of get a little bit too relaxed out there as an infielder, that you're not going to get one of those rogue hops. So sometimes the feet can get a little bit lazy, and then you get that bounciness that you mentioned, and it can eat you up. We saw a couple of those balls happen yesterday a little bit while we were here at the tournament taking in some baseball ourselves. So it's just one of those things you got to get used to.
Ball is fouled out of play, and the count is 3-2. Wilcox glances over his shoulder at the base runner over at first. That's Tagliavia following the one-out single. He's running with the pitch over the head of the batter, so first and second. And that'll be the second walk issued by Wilcox. I thought it was interesting. These players at this age are so much more accustomed to playing on the artificial surface than the major leaguers. When they had the game in London over the weekend,
Yeah.
the Cubs and the Cardinals were playing in London. They were playing on an artificial surface, and one of the first things that Nolan Arenado said when he was interviewed right before the game was a little concerned about the bounciness. It's not something they're accustomed to. It's kind of funny that these players are much more accustomed to it than the major leaguers.
Yeah, it is kind of wild to think about, but I like it. I mean, I've seen a lot of college baseball go into that turf field as well. It's easy to maintain. It's a good true hop, and there's not the injuries that were associated with artificial turf back when I played. They've really kind of figured it out. You have a little bit different bounce, but then again, you play at different fields with different species of grass and all kinds of different things about it, different types of clay. You're going to get a little bit different bounce as well. So just a matter of getting used to it. It's good and consistent. That's one thing you can definitely guarantee.
Brandon Hancock at the plate, backed out of there by Wilcox, and the count's now 2-1 to Hancock. Hancock 6'2", 180, 190, class of 2024 out of West Babylon, New York. Rated the number 11 third baseman in the state, the class of 2024 by PBR. Batting here with a chance to put Team Francisco back in the game. Two aboard, first and second, and just one out. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Hancock. Chopper on the infield. They'll touch the bag at second. Throw to first for the double play. Nicely executed on the 6-3 double play by the shortstop Howard, who Coach Chambers said has committed only 3 errors in the last 3 seasons. Fine piece of fielding right there by Howard to end the top of the second. 3-1 Aces Nationals. They grab the bats when we get back. Audi Marietta, today's field naming rights partner, a proud member of the Jim Ellis family of auto dealerships, the nation's #1 Audi sport dealership in 2022. As we head to the bottom of the second inning, Matt Stewart along with Jason Jacobs. Thanks for joining us. It's the PBR 16 and under national championship game, where the team from Florida, Aces National, leads the team from Long Island, New York. Team Francisco 3-1. Aces National sent 8 men to the plate in the top half of the first and put 3 runs on the board.
Yeah, good clean job. Good clean baseball to this point. Davis really getting things going with that big triple. Able to make a good play in the field as well. Has really showcased his talent to this point.
Hayes McCorkle goes after the first pitch, bounces it foul down the third base line. McCorkle, 6'2", 185, class of 2024, so a rising senior at Dothan, Alabama High School, which is not too far from the Panhandle. And he hits this one in the air to shallow left field. It's going to drop for a base hit. So another hit for Aces National to get the inning started.
Another leadoff man on. Again, Welsh is making some good pitches here. Just the ball off of Davis, really the hardest ball hit to this point. Has had some soft contact there. Another ball off the end of the bat. McCorkle able to stay through it just enough to get it out of the outstretched arms of Fajardo. It's at shortstop.
That'll bring John Davis to the plate. Young man that head coach Michael Chambers described as a hit machine, and we saw him slam a triple off the base of the right field wall to get the game started back in the bottom of the first for Aces.
Yeah, good simple stroke, very A to B, good and direct, not a whole lot of wasted action in his swing at all, and the setup to it, good rhythm. And then we got to see a chance, we got a chance to see him run the bases as well. It was moving well out there.
Well, Coach Chambers said they're a small ball team. They like to let the defense and the pitching take care of it, get some runs, but we haven't seen a lot of the small ball. I mean, they've had some big hits in this game already.
Yeah, to this point, been very aggressive in the strike zone, haven't chased a whole lot of pitches, and have put a lot of pressure on the defense by just putting the ball in play. Well, to this point, has 2 strikeouts from last inning. Of course, he faced 8 batters in that inning, so a lot of good approaches here at the plate from the Aces.
No balls, 2 strikes, and Davis goes down swinging on the 74-mile-per-hour offering. And that'll be the first out of the inning.
I like seeing that from Welsh right there, backing up a hit, coming back and getting the strikeout. We'd seen him before give up hits and lose the zone a little bit, but attacking the zone right there. Not worried about Davis, who got a good piece of him in his last at bat.
So that's 3 strikeouts for Welch out of the 10 batters that he's faced. But I agree with you. That's really big for him after giving up a triple to Davis to come back and strike him out on 3 pitches the second time that he faced him. So Howard batting for the second time. He walked and scored back in the first. Howard batting in the second spot. We already talked about his glove, and you saw it as he turned that double play to end the, top half of the second inning. And you commented to me as we went to the timeout that you were really surprised that bounce didn't eat him up. He just handled the ball very well.
I thought when he hung back on it, it was going to eat him up, but it did a great job and made it look kind of easy. Fielding the ball on the way up from the turf is a lot more difficult than obviously on the way down from its peak. So he did a good job at timing that, getting a good hop, and then finishing the play nice and easy there at second base. And a good throw on to first. So I can definitely see why he's only made 3 errors in the last 2.5 years that he's been with the team. As a shortstop, that's incredible.
It is. PBR has him rated as the number 19 shortstop in the state of Florida. As that ball is hit to center field, but positioned perfectly by Castro out there for out number 2.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there by Howard. 91 off the bat, almost 92. I guess 91.7 will round up. A good piece there, just right at the center fielder in Castro, able to retire him for the second out of the inning.
Brings Frank Wells to the plate for a second time. He had a big RBI single his first time up, stole a base and scored a run. Wells goes after the pitch and sends it back to the screen. Only 74 on that offer. No balls and a strike to Wells. Throw over to first, but we started this game by talking about the grind, and the grind in particular on your pitching, and we kind of saw that bear out in Omaha the last two games, right? Between Florida and LSU.
Yeah, had some great pitching performances all throughout that series. And
8 one-run games
Yeah.
leading up to the final two, which was a record for the College World Series, and then the last two games decided by a total of 34 runs.
I think that's a testament to the talent, not only on the mound, but also, you look at those lineups and what they were able to do against pretty good pitching, too. Even the back-end guys, they got a little bit tired, still have good stuff. That lineup was just able to shine. That was just a great series to watch.
I'm sure that was must-see TV for a lot of these teams here at LakePoint Sports since Thursday night. Actually, since Wednesday night, they actually kicked it off bright and early, 8:30, the first game played on Thursday. 407 games. This is game number 408 to decide the champion. Quite an undertaking by the folks here at LakePoint Sports. Three balls and a strike. That's going to be ball 4. So now 2 aboard for Aces National. 2 down in the inning. And Summerlin is due up. He's another Georgia kid. He's out of Camilla, Georgia. Plays at Westwood School. Rising junior, class of 2023. And he's rated the number 11 catcher in the state of Georgia by PBR in the class of 2025. Ball bounces away from the catcher. Everybody moves up 90 feet on the wild pitch.
And this is getting that third out of the inning, always so difficult. Mentioned some of that attrition. I think mentally it's the hardest wear on you, because Welch looks really good coming off a last inning, was really challenging the zone, trusting his stuff in the zone. I think at this point it's just getting that repetition and staying concentrating on what you're doing to execute, where it becomes difficult with this long, this many games and this long of a tournament.
Struck well to right field, base hit. That's going to score at least one. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to go right on through and sign safe. 2-run score for Aces National as they take a 5-1 lead. 2-run single by Summerlin.
And Summerlin getting a little bit of redemption. Struck out in his first at bat against Welsh. Able right there to come through with the big clutch 2-out knock. I think that's going to do it for Welch.
Yeah, great hustle by Wells, too, to score from second base on that base hit with a nice sliding head first dive into home plate. And a 5-1 lead for Aces National here in the second, and a pitching change for Team Francisco. So we'll see where they move everybody around here. Looks like Tyler Lynch perhaps comes in from first base and is going to take over on the mound. So we'll check the domino effect as it relates to their infield. Thought I saw Robert Ortiz perhaps go to the outfield. He's been the DH in this game. Looks like he's going to go out there and play in the outfield. And so we get a chance to see Tyler Lynch. He's out of Deer Park, Florida. He's been playing first base.
Yeah, Lynch a little bit different. Fastball, low 80s. You're gonna see a more off-speed stuff out of Lynch, as he's gonna just try and get these guys timing off, back to front with the change of speed, the curveball a little bit slower. So stuff not quite as explosive as Welch per se, but looking here to command the strike zone. And again, things are getting late in this tournament, so just trying to get guys in there to throw some strikes and keep you in the ball game.
Lynch is rated by PBR the number 35 right-handed pitcher in the state of New York in the class of 2025. So he takes over on the mound. It looks like Evan Kay is going to come in from right field and play first base. Ortiz is now in left field. And let's see if that results in Pasolini going out to right field. Yep, Pasolini goes from left to right, and Ortiz is now in left. And Evan Kay takes over at first, and now Tyler Lynch will try to get out of this inning. 2 more runs have scored for Aces National, 3 in the first, 2 more here in the second to take a 5-1 lead in the PBR 16 and under national championship game. Here's Saxton batting for the second time. He walked his first time up. But I was thinking about that as I was watching the College World Series, and you see the same thing happen in pro baseball too, in the World Series and playoff series. Wild pitch, and Summerlin advances to second. Maybe not as much magnified in the playoffs in Major League Baseball and the World Series because the series are spaced out a little bit differently. It's not really tournament play, it's playoffs. But still, you get to situations, even in the big leagues where, the pitching, you're asking guys to come back and do things that they don't normally do because you're trying to win a championship.
And, obviously there's the physical aspect of that, but I think more importantly is the mental aspect, especially at this age. About the big league level, those guys are playing every day as it is. It's just clocking in. What day is it anyway type of mentality. College gets not quite as bad, but here at this high school level, you have these. You're not really used to playing this many games in this short a time span. So I think mentally staying locked in is just as difficult as the physical aspect.
Saxton was hit by the pitch, so first and second. Now Darian Collins bats again with 2 aboard. He had a 2-run single an inning ago. Fouls off the 75-mile-per-hour pitch. 74, right in that range. And now Mazzola is going to meet with his pitcher as Darian Collins meets with the third base coach.
Might have got the home plate umpire, maybe giving him a second there. Saw Chambers come in, make sure he was all right as well.
So being a catcher all your life at the collegiate level and then in the professional baseball level as well, how does that work?
Well, in that case, it's kind of my bad.
Sorry, I let the ball get by, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But, it happens. Especially different arms you see. It looked like a breaking ball maybe stayed up a little bit. Mazzola had trouble handling it. Thankfully, no one able to advance right there, but it just happens. Just want to go ahead and give him the courtesy of taking some time to let the sting die down.
1 ball, 1 strike to Collins. Already a 4-run lead for Aces National in this national championship game. And when we talked to Christopher Sipp about his message to his boys going into this championship game, he said keep it simple, get into good counts, just kind of a straightforward message. Admitted, look, it's a 14-hour ride back to Long Island, man.
Yeah.
It would be a lot nicer if we win.
Absolutely. You make it this far, you absolutely have to go for it. Kind of empty the tank. You got a long drive to recover.
Better doing that.
Yeah, a lot easier.
Riding on the heels of a victory instead of a loss, right?
Absolutely.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Collins. Time called by Collins. Five runs on 5 hits for Aces National. Ball in the air and out of play.
Lynch really spinning it. Got the ball, breaking all different directions. Got a bigger overhand curveball, a shorter little slider there. And seeing him mix in a little two-seam underneath the bat here to Collins if he can. As Collins is really selling out, see the ball deep.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Ball is placed over on the right side. First baseman can't come up with it. And the bases are going to be loaded. Throw back to third base, and he's safe there. But like they say, the ball always finds you. Kay just came in from the outfield, so you got to figure the ball is going to be hit to him pretty quickly, and that's exactly what happened. Great play by him just to knock it down, keep a run from scoring there.
Yeah, good job keeping it in on the infield. A great job by Collins there. Really battled right there. Collins saw the ball away. I think Lynch never really established an inside part of the plate. And even though he doesn't have the same fastball that Welch has, you still have to establish that inside part of the plate to keep those guys from doing what Collins was able to do right there.
Here's Skylar Jersey, and ball 1 to Jersey. He grounded out to the first baseman his first time up. But if Kay doesn't make that play, and you can see Kay's probably a little bit upset with himself right now, but if he doesn't make that play, it runs in already.
Yeah, just to get to it is a good job right there. Ball hit kind of no man's land.
There's strike to Jersey, and it's 1-1.
Unable to get the out, but a heck of an effort right there. And again, saved a run, gives his pitcher and Lynch a chance right here to get out of it, not giving anything up.
1 ball, 1 strike. Bases loaded here for Aces National. A chance to blow it open. That ball is hit up the middle, gloved by the shortstop, and there's the out on the middle bag for the final out of the inning. So bases loaded. Aces National unable to come up with more than 2 runs, but they played another 2, and they take a 5-1 lead on Team Francisco to the 3rd.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
And welcome back, Mark O'Brien, the CEO of LakePoint Sports with us. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for having us and hosting us here on the PBR 1600 National Championship game. Tell us a little bit about LakePoint and the mission here in Emerson, Georgia.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And Matt, Jason, you guys are doing a great job. We had a great game, 5-1, and 2 great teams, one from New York, one from Florida. And New York's got some great hitting, so we should be in for a quality few innings here. So excited to see what they can do with their bats. Emerson, Georgia is home to LakePoint Sports right here in Bartow County. South side of campus that's home to 8 full-size Major League Baseball fields, and we're on the Audi Marietta field for the national championship game today.
It's been a lot of fun, no doubt about it. 408th game of this past week since Thursday. 154 total teams invited here for this event, and you guys pretty much do things like this every week, don't you?
Yeah, every day, every week. You know, our goal is really to drive as much activity around the campus as we can in our city and in our county, and we're excited to host everything from baseball to football to basketball, volleyball, just nearly 30 sports, 8 core sports, and drive as much economic impact as we can for our city and our county.
Well, Team Francisco trying to get back in this ball game, Mark, and there's an error committed by the second baseman allowing Castro to reach, so they're on their attempted comeback here, and I thought you pointed out it's great. I mean, we're playing a tournament here in Emerson, Georgia, which is 30 minutes, 30 miles north of Atlanta, and we've got a team from Long Island, New York, and a team from the Panhandle of Florida playing for the championship.
Yeah, and we had a team from Louisiana and a team from Philly in the semis before the national game here, and Philly was the highly ranked kind of favorite, this New York team can do, and not to take anything away from the team from Florida. They've got some great arms going, and we're excited to see them advance, as they had a pretty exciting game over Louisiana in another nail biter. So teams from all over the country and really all over the world. We have a massive football event here this week. We actually have 80 five-star football players checking into the Champions Center this afternoon for the next gen 7v7 event called The Show. And these are the top 7v7 football players in the country that are going to be competing here this weekend. We're excited to be hosting that following this national championship game.
Well, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's such an impressive facility, and bringing so many teams in from all around the country. It's just it's really cool to see what this has done, and especially, like you mentioned, for the town of Emerson as well.
Thank you, Jason. Really, it's we're so fortunate to work within a great county in Bartow County, and then the city leaders of Emerson and what they've been able to pull together here, and the growth momentum that we're seeing, not only in Bartow County but also in Emerson. You see some massive development around the campus right now. With
Yeah.
the new hotel that's being constructed just beyond the left field wall here in the Audi Marietta field, and then just the growth and momentum across the state of Georgia. It's the #1 state in the country to do business year over year, and the incredible leadership by Governor Kemp and his team. Just couldn't be more fortunate. State and county and city.
Well, Mark, you mentioned the explosive bats of Team Francisco, and they've got something going here in the top half of the third. The Arab allowed Castro to reach, and then Ortiz was hit by a pitch, so they got runners at first and second, one out for their number 4 hitter, Philip Mazzola. Pitch from Wilcox is fouled out of play, and there's 2 outs in the inning.
Been impressed with Wilcox, able to maintain that pitching velocity. It's gone down a little bit here, but still sitting around 85, 87 throughout this outing here. What amounts to the 408th game played? Boy, that takes a lot of logistics, doesn't it?
Well, and our joint venture with PBR and the great job that Prep Baseball Report does on a national level, but throughout the state of Georgia, the team here, Matt Yarber, Al Coletta, Avery Hudson, just a great team that works tirelessly to make sure that we deliver on an excellent experience here for these athletes that travel from all over the country.
Great throw by the shortstop. They can't control it at first. Throw to the plate, and a run scores. Castro comes home from third, and everybody else would advance 90 feet. So Team Francisco, with their second run of the ball game, makes it a 5-2 game.
And they're battling back. I don't think you can count anybody out at this stage of things.
Jason, nobody knows better than you your time at Georgia and the stellar career you had at Georgia and playing professionally. So it just takes seeing eye single, errant flow, just something can turn that momentum.
Yeah, I've been so impressed with the grit that these guys really maintain, and the talent level is much better than when I played at this stage of the game. These guys, I was just talking to Matt too, they all look like they found the weight room. That was something that was kind of frowned upon when I was their age. You didn't do that until a little bit later on. But yeah, a lot of talent, a lot of grit, good baseball knowledge. I've seen a lot of savvy play out there as well. I think some of these tournaments and events have really led to what you see now in college baseball, the talent level that it's gone there.
Well, and to that point, I think Prep Baseball Report, the job that Sean Duncan and Todd do there at the national level, really providing a positive environment for these travel sports athletes to really know what they're competing against, but also how to get better. And that's, at the end of the day, not only better baseball players, but better people. So really exciting things to see, not only at LakePoint Sports, but across the state of Georgia and across the country with baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that was a big strikeout right there by Wilcox to get out of the second and third situation. So the score remains 5-2. We'll keep it here as we get ready to head to the bottom of the third inning. Tell us about the hotel that's being constructed out beyond the left field fence here at the Audi field.
Yeah, there's so much growth and momentum, to your point, Matt. Just exciting to see a number of developments on campus. But the Element Hotel will be a 114-key 14-room hotel with a full-service restaurant and a rooftop bar, scheduled to open Q1 of 2024, owned and operated by Horizon Hospitality, and really excited to have that open up here sooner versus later. And I know our guests on campus couldn't be more excited about the hotel and the location and the brand. So we're looking forward to seeing that open soon.
Tell us a little bit more about the campus, how many baseball fields, soccer fields. You talked about the football, the Champion Center, which is also right behind us out beyond that center field fence, which is going to play host to the Rise Hoops tournament that's coming up this weekend.
Yeah, it's Rise Hoops Battle for Georgia. So we'll have the best teams in the state of Georgia competing at the Champion Center. The fifth largest convention space in the state of Georgia. It's a 170,000 square foot indoor pavilion that is home to 12 full-size basketball courts and the largest continuous wood floor in the world. That converts to 24 full-size volleyball courts. We're fortunate we have 3 full-size multi-purpose fields, and that's the next gen. The show football 77 football event we're having this weekend. We'll have beach volleyball events going on this weekend as well, adjacent to a 3-lake wake park. And, of course, the 8 full-size Major League Baseball fields. And what makes it really special is the high quality that we have on campus and the premium elements that really separate LakePoint from any other destination in the country. There's really nothing like it. That's what we hear back from our guests on campus. And we're very fortunate to have such a great location and great venues and amenities here.
That's Mark O'Brien. He's the president and CEO, board member of LakePoint Sports, which is the host site for the PBR 16 and under National Championship game that you're watching right now, as we are now in the bottom of the third. And Aces National batting again and leading Team Francisco by a score of 5-2. Mark, tell us about the calendar of events. I mean, obviously the summer is a very busy time for LakePoint Sports, but you guys are a 365, 52 weeks a year kind of thing, aren't you?
Yeah, it feels like maybe 565 with all the activities we have. And, yeah, we have a full calendar year-round. We're pretty much 50 out of 52 weeks. We've got something pretty big happening on campus. And depending on when the holidays fall, there might be some time in there that we try to catch our breath and give the team proper due. And everything that we do is a credit to our team members, and our mission, vision, purpose, and values is a values-led organization. Is apparent in terms of what they do and how they do it day in and day out. And I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize our team members and the incredible job that they do every day for our guests on campus.
Hayes McCorkle strokes that into the corner. Let's see if he can turn that into extra bases as McCorkle digs for second. He'll reach it standing up with a one-out double. And that's the number 9 hitter in the order, who's now 2 for 2 in the game.
And you got to like the back and forth, the punch and then the counter punch right there. McCorkle getting extra bases. Good job on an arm side breaking ball right there, able to keep it fair. Ball just stayed up in the zone, did it for Lynch. So in business with a man in scoring position are the Aces here with the dangerous John Davis stepping back into the box.
Yeah, he's 1 for 2, led off the game with a triple, then struck out his second time up. But we're seeing this national championship game, and it's the only game being played right now, but to get the real experience of LakePoint Sports, just yesterday, I mean, the place is buzzing. Every field is packed to the gills. Games are being played at, all over the place. And in fact, for this tournament, you have to expand out to other fields around the area to, get 408 games in since Thursday. But the true experience yesterday was a great example of that.
Yeah, no, thank you. And we work closely with our within Bartow County to really create a premium guest experience, not only on our campus, but so that as people travel from California or Washington, New York, Illinois, Texas, Arizona, we want to make sure they're playing as many games as possible on the LakePoint Sports Campus. That being said, we do have a number of off-site locations. We work closely with Bartow County in securing different locations and working with our school districts as well right here in Bartow County to help their programs, but also to provide the best guest experience for those who are visiting the LakePoint Sports Campus.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Davis, and he pokes it in the hole between short and third. Here comes McCorkle around third. He will score, and it's 6-2. John Davis delivers an RBI single, goes to second on the throw.
Yeah, a lot different than the triple here. Davis sees the ball much deeper in the zone. I think that's a good approach against a guy like Lynch who's really spinning it on you. Little inside out, finds a hole in the 6 hole there to the right of the shortstop, and then job by McCorkle hustling around third, never even slowed down. So good base running there by McCorkle.
Here's Gavin Howard. Really impressed, Mark, with the explosiveness of these two teams. I think, Jason said it a few moments ago, a punch counter punch. They just keep coming at each other, don't they?
Well, it's reminiscent of the College World Series that just took place and how great that was in Omaha and the battles that you saw in all the games. And credit to all the teams that made it to Omaha. Obviously, LSU with just a phenomenal run there, and to bounce back from that second game against Florida, just incredible. And just the talent on both those teams. I think there's a little bit of a run that the SEC has on the College World Series right now.
Well, you see, and you talk about that, and Hurston Waldrop, who pitched for the Florida Gators in the College World Series, came up through this ACES national program. So who knows how many guys we saw play here at LakePoint since Thursday will, in a couple of years, be playing in the College World Series. Ball hit to the third baseman, looks the runner back, and the throw across for out number 2.
Yeah, I think that's what's so incredible about this versus my time when I was at this amateur level, the high school level, is there's places like this now where you get all these scouts around, and it's really tough for a guy to slip through the cracks these days. There's a lot of great information, the metrics that are available to all these guys when they come in. There's a good measurement of these guys' abilities, objective measurement as well as subjective, a good place to view it. So just a wonderful situation here for these young men to really showcase their talents and see how far it can get them.
That's right, and again, credit to our partners at Prep Baseball Report, the incredible job that they do at a national level, and then here in Georgia, the relationship that we have across the state, and the job that the PBR LakePoint team does, really covering the state and making sure that we give every athlete the opportunity that truly aspires to play collegiately and or professionally to keep honing in on their skills and improving. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. We know it's a finite number that get to play professionally. You had a stalwart career collegiately. You know how hard it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's a credit to what's out in the market today and playing here. You have state-of-the-art fields, state-of-the-art lighting, video board with player profiles on it, TrackMan data with spin rates and exit velocity. Exit velo. So it's just really, to your point, the information's out there, and it can be a little bit of information overload. So I think that's also a caution. And I think you can always go back to Bull Durham for a great game.
Yeah.
It's a simple game.
Yeah.
You throw the ball, you catch the ball, you hit the ball.
Well, you talked about the analytics, and certainly there is a lot of that, and PBR does a tremendous job with the analytics and the scouting, but sometimes it's just eyes on baseball player. We saw a pitching coach from a Power 5 team. I won't mention his name in case he doesn't want to know that they're here, but, he's here watching in person. That ball is hit deep to right field off the bat of Summerlin. It's going to be caught for the final out of the inning, but another productive inning for Aces National as they will take a 6-2 lead to the top of the fourth. Mark, thanks a lot for being with us. Do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thanks for having us here.
Thanks,
Mark O'Brien is the president and CEO, board member of LakePoint Sports, and we'll be back with the fourth in a moment.
I'm here with Tyler Baird, uncommitted right-hander playing for the South Charlotte Panthers out of North Carolina, top 20 player in the class of 2025. How would you describe your mentality on the mound? Is it, here's my stuff, just good luck?
For people to hit it, they have to hit it first, so just put it all on the table and see what they can do with it.
He loves the challenge of just being out there and him versus the batter, knowing that he has support around him.
Whenever he's on the mound, you just know it's on. Like, it's just that fear in the opponent's eyes when he goes up and pitches. It's just something to see, man. It's something to watch, and it's a joy to catch.
I mean, I love my change. I love it both with lefty and righty because I think a lot of people disvalue it, throwing it to righty on righty, and not a lot of people are looking for it. So I think it's a great pitch. So I really love my changeup, and then curveball and slider still like in the process, trying to get to 100%.
Curveball, there's like, oh, that's nasty. Fastball's got so much life to it, dude. It's crazy.
I anticipate him being in 2 years as good as he, taking the leaps that he's taken over the past 2 years, doing it the next 2 years, and just continuing to grow as a player.
Great job, Corey McCartney, catching up with South Charlotte Panthers pitcher Tyler Baird, one of the top pitching prospects in this tournament the past week. The South Charlotte team, a really good team, got knocked out in the quarterfinals yesterday. They were so close, but pleasure to watch this tournament and to visit with Mark O'Brien right there. And we're just one of the 2.5 million visitors they've had here at LakePoint Sports.
That's an incredible number. And just mentioned the talent here in Georgia too, the sports and the development that has really happened, and then 2.5 million people coming through Emerson, Georgia. It's just wonderful what LakePoint's been able to do and showing all those guests a great time.
Tyler Lynch at the plate. Lynch flew out to center field his first time up. And Wilcox still out there. Lynch is the second pitcher used by Team Francisco, Jason, but Wilcox has gone the distance so far as we've moved into the top of the fourth inning.
Yeah, been pretty efficient with his pitches, 57 to this point. That was his 58th. Good range right there.
Wow, what a play by Gavin Howard.
Man.
A cannon there at shortstop. He was 2 feet on the grass and threw him out with ease. Super play by Gavin Howard.
Yeah, you mentioned the lack of error. Sometimes that can be just a range issue. I mean, we've talked about that a couple of times. Like, guys get an error because they can get to a ball right there, showing the range and then the throw. And so just an incredible defensive shortstop is Howard, showcasing it right there on a difficult play to his backhand side.
Here's Joseph Tagliavia. He singled his first time up. One of just 3 hits for Team Francisco. They've had the base runners, they've had some opportunities, but just like the previous half inning when they had that opportunity, not able to get that final big hit to kind of break open the inning.
And we just seen some great defense too from Aces National. Play right there. You had Davis make a great play in center field, so that's 2 times now that I think Lynch has been robbed in as many at bats. So some good defense from the Aces. Just haven't really allowed Team Francisco to get any sort of momentum.
3-1 Tapper. They're going to try Howard again. That's a nice easy hop for him. He makes that look easy. 2 down in the inning. And you can see why Coach Chambers told us that Howard's really starting to get a lot of Power 5 looks.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you just mentioned made it look easy. The throw kind of slowed down. That arm action's great. You saw him show it off from the hole, but able to kind of tamp it down and make the easy one as well. So, yeah, very impressed with him so far.
Here's Villela going to bat for the first time, and he bounces it to the right side. Let's see if Howard can throw him out. Well, not this time. On that second half hop after it got by the third baseman, Collins, it was going to be really hard for Howard to make that play. But he still got the ball over there and made it close.
With how high that hop was, just 60 miles an hour off the bat, so a mishit right there. But once Collins didn't get to it, I think that was a tall ask of Howard. But another good throw right there. Good opportunity again for him to show off his arm. Good accuracy, good footwork.
So Luke Villela at first with 2 down. And here's Hancock. Brandon Hancock hit into that big 6-3 double play when they had that kind of what we were talking about a few moments ago. They had two runners on base in the second and couldn't get them home. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Bounces in front of Summerlin, going to pick it up and not be able to throw out Villela, who advances to second on the wild pitch.
Yeah, just a yank right there from Wilcox. A straight fastball, just kind of tugged it outside, and that's going to get a visit here. That was pitch number 66. Hadn't lost too much on the velo per se, but the command is struggling here.
Looks like he's going to make the pitching change. He gets the first 2 outs of the inning, but can't get the third. And the base runner was just a tapper, high bouncer.
Yeah.
Wasn't a hard hit ball by any means, but Wilcox is going to be done here in the top of the 4th. And we'll step aside as Aces National makes the pitching change.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
So new pitcher for the Aces National will be the third baseman, Darian Collins, who will step in from third base and take over on the mound.
Yeah, good fastball in the mid-80s there, 85, 69 to 72 on the curveball, 75, 76 on the change. So another good fastball here from the Aces. Mid-80s, we'll see if it's maybe a little bit lower. Again, coming in from third base, didn't get a whole lot of warm-ups there in the bullpen before he was called upon to pitch here, and again playing in there, late into this tournament.
So a strong outing though by Wilcox there to get him into the 4th inning. Nash Pyers is going to take over at third base. He's committed to Alabama. He's the number 15 rated shortstop in the state of Florida for the class of 2025. Going to play the third base bag here in this championship game. Pardon me, it's Jackson Kramer. It's not Nash Pyers. It's Jackson Kramer, who's out of Pensacola, Florida, and West Florida High School, number 3. Sometimes a little difficult to read those sky blue numbers, right? So Jackson Kramer takes over at third base.
And it looked like Collins there at the end of his warm-ups might have mixed in a little knuckleball. A little shake of the glove there. I saw the spin rate was right there at just 1,000, so should be interesting to see if he showcases any of that.
So Hancock at the plate to face Darian Collins. And there's an 84-mile-per-hour pitch that missed the strike zone. It's 2-0. Team Francisco's had 8 base runners in this game, but scored only 2 runs and managed just 3 hits to this point. Actually 4 hits now. The infield bouncer by Villela was that. And so now Hancock will be aboard, first and second. So 9 base runners. Let's see if they can finally come up with the big hit and get back in this game as they trail 6-2 in the top of the 4th. Here's Fajardo. Strike 1 to Fajardo.
And Collins with a fresh count comes right at the hitter right there, 82-mile-an-hour fastball.
Count now 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 aboard. Team Francisco's had at least 2 aboard in every inning.
And not quite able to cash in, as you mentioned. Collins here having a tough time finding the strike zone. 5 pitches, just 1 strike to this point in those 5 pitches. Having a difficult time making that transition from third base onto the mound.
Ball fouled back to the screen. 2 balls and a strike. 2 down into the inning and 2 aboard for Team Francisco out of Long Island, New York, Farmingdale, New York. 8-0 in the tournament. They were the number 4 seed coming out of pool play. 2-2 pitch is hit foul. An over 40-run differential. So they've won some big games here in this tournament, including a semifinal victory over Sheets Baseball earlier this morning. Ball hit on the ground to the second baseman, tossed to second to get the middle runner there, and the final out of the inning. So the score remains 6-2 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Corey McCartney met with parents who made the trip with their kids to play in the championship tournament.
The team's from Kansas City, Missouri.
We've come down here from Pennsylvania.
We come from North Carolina to LakePoint.
Coming from Illinois. Here we're from Long Island, New York. It's a great facility here. Everybody's real friendly. Great umpires and good food.
We've come a few times and it's an amazing experience.
It's a great experience for parents and for our kids.
Great facilities, awesome competition down here. It's good to see a lot of teams from different states, from New York, seen some from Florida, Texas, and everything. It's a good quality baseball.
You're facing better competition, and that's what it's all about.
A lot of good competition, a lot of good parents, a lot of good baseball.
And back at LakePoint Sports in Emerson, Georgia, Matt Stewart along with Jason Jacobs as we head to the bottom of the 4th. In the PBR, that's the Prep Baseball Report, 16 and under national championship game. This tournament coming to a conclusion after starting on Thursday morning at 8:30. This is the 408th game of the tournament. Out of the 154 teams, everybody got a guarantee of 5 games in pool play, and then the 26 pool winners started bracket play first thing Monday morning.
Yeah, and I think it's been a great experience on and off the field. Just a good job done here at LakePoint hosting this tournament. PBR's done a fantastic job as well. And we've seen some great baseball. It's been very enjoyable and a good championship game to this point.
Bottom of the 4th inning, Aces National on top of Team Francisco, 6-2.
Looks like Team Francisco going to Villela.
Yep. He'll be the 3rd pitcher used by Team Francisco today. After Jordan Welch started the game, they gave the ball to Tyler Welch. Or Jordan Welch started the game, they gave the ball to Tyler Cook after that.
Yeah, I believe it was Lynch and then to Villela here.
Yep.
Villela.
Yeah, Lynch, Tyler Lynch.
You know, again, going to be in that low 80s kind of range right now. He's pretty common for the fastball.
Here's Saxton to lead off the inning for Aces National. Batting for the 2nd time. He's been hit by a pitch and he's walked. Saxton rated by PBR as the number 5 outfielder in the state of Mississippi for the class of 2025 and number 26 overall prospect in the state.
He was able to get the final out in the semis.
Yeah, he was.
Just a couple hours ago in the field behind us. Pretty good on the mound as well.
Bats left and throws left, and been quite a run for the state of Mississippi the last couple of years. 2021, Mississippi State winning their first ever College World Series, and then in 2022, Ole Miss won their first ever College World Series. Here's the 3-2 pitch. It's going to be fouled off. Aces National 8-0 in this tournament, averaging over 8 runs per game, allowed less than 2 runs per game. They were the number 3 seed coming out of pool play. They won Pool C. Ball hit in the air over on the left side. Charging in, Ortiz in left field makes the running catch for out number 1.
Yeah, good job there by Ortiz coming in hard. A lot of ground to cover. Good pitch by Villela, getting in on the hands of Saxton.
Here's Darian Collins, who started the game at third base, now pitching for Aces National. The 1-0 pitch, missed high, 82. It's 2-0. On the infield, backhanded by the shortstop. Long throw won't get him, infield hit. So Collins aboard for the 3rd time in this game. Couple of base hits and a walk.
A little courtesy runner there for Collins, who is doing the pitching. He'll get a little rest as Skylar Jersey steps up to the plate for his 3rd at bat.
So Jersey bats with 1 aboard. There's ball 1 to Jersey. And there for a strike, count goes 1-1. Villela to the plate. He did not go as they appeal down to first base. 2 balls and a strike.
A lot of action. That looks like a changeup right there. Villella's throwing. It's got a lot of action down and arm side as well. You see the change in speed on it too, about 17, 18 miles an hour off of that fastball.
2 balls and a strike. Ball hit out of play over on the right side. Another benefit of playing on the artificial surface is less wear and tear on the uniforms.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Saxton's able to, dive back into first base with no damage done. 2-2. Did he go? He did not. Checked his swing. Count now 3-2. Ball is hit to the second baseman. They go to second, 1 on to first for a 4-6-3 double play. Nice defense by Team Francisco to end the bottom half of the 4th. But getting late here in the PBR 16 and under national championship game. Aces National with a 6-2 lead as we head to the 5th. Come on in, Matt Stewart.
Golden. Hey,
Steven.
how's it going?
So I've been asked a million times, how do I increase my bat speed and my power? That's why we created the Camwood bat. So the Camwood bat allows you to train with a heavy bat without breaking down your mechanics while increasing your bat speed and your power. That is why Mo's 9-year-old son Lee here is able to train with a 35-ounce bat with no issues.
This bat is the best teaching tool for youth players, for coaches and parents, for creating bat speed, bat path, and fast hands.
Order now and get 10% off plus a free 10-day bat speed challenge at camwoodbats.com.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, you'll always find more fun with great brands at the best prices. More of this, and this. So you can get together for a little of that, and a lot more of that. And even some of that, and that's good. Have more fun with great brands at the best prices. Only at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports in Emerson, Georgia. In the PBR 16 Under National Championship game, Aces Nationals on top 6-2. We're now joined by Stephen Schumacher, who is the president of Cartersville and Bartow County Tourism. Thanks a lot for having us here at your facility here in your county, I should say. Tell us what LakePoint Sports means for Cartersville and Bartow County.
Sure. As Mark mentioned, he's one of my board members, so it's fun to be on a property where one of my 12 bosses is here critiquing what I do. But this is a great day, and what LakePoint does, as Mark had mentioned, 2.5 million visitors to the community, and what that means for us when it comes to hotel rooms, all the things that there are to do in the county. It's a huge county between Emerson, Georgia here that we're located in, the city of Cartersville right up the road, and then the county as a whole. It's the numbers are crazy here with all the sports that we have, but then the best part is when the families are here, what there is to do for the families and friends. That's the best part.
Well, tell us what that has meant as far as the residual effect, the positive residual effect that has meant for the rest of the county as far as growth in this county.
Yeah. Emerson being the hub right here for LakePoint, going north just about 7-8 minutes when you get to Cartersville. People don't understand or expect what they're going to get out of Cartersville here in the county as well. We actually have 3 Smithsonian-affiliated museums.
Wow, didn't know that.
It's called the Bartow History Museum is our local museum, but then we also have a science museum called the Tell Science Museum. It's focuses a lot on astronomy, paleontology, and geology, so it's always fun for kids and families alike. The Booth Western Art Museum was the first museum to open about 20 years ago, and that museum has a focus on seeing America's story in the American West. And then the newest museum, which a lot of the dads here love to go and check out, is the Savoy Automobile Museum.
Yeah.
Which is a very, very cool museum, opened about a year and a half ago.
I've driven past that
Yes,
before.
you got to stop in. It's a really cool spot. What makes that museum unique is it actually rotates exhibits every month. So if you go there 4 months from today, you'll see a whole new set of cars from different collectors and from the community and from different people, donating their cars for about 3 to 4 months. So.
That's Stephen Schumacher. He is the president of Cartersville and Bartow County Tourism, and that is a base hit for Tyler Cook and Team Francisco as they try to climb back in this game. They fell behind early with 3 runs in the first. They've been playing from behind ever since as they trail 6-2 and bat here in the top of the 5th. But when you bring 154 teams to a tournament like this over the last week, it's great they're playing baseball, but they're not playing baseball all the time. You got to have things for them to do, and so that has resulted in other businesses springing up here in this county and in this city.
And that's our job too. The LakePoint team's been so easy to work with. I've only been on the job about 10 months now. I've been in tourism for about 10 years. Originally from the Northeast, and been in Georgia now for 10 years. And seeing this sleepy community grow so quickly, and starting here in Emerson, then going up to Cartersville, the historic downtown is a hidden gem. There's so many different shops and restaurants. You have 11 chef-owned restaurants and 20 different shops, all within walking distance right downtown there. And that's one of the museums is located there too. And you can go all the way to the north end of the county where Barnsley Resort is, which is a luxury resort. Gorgeous, gorgeous property. Plenty to do there. Beautiful double play here.
Wow, what a play by Gavin Howard. He has been putting on a show here in this tournament. That is another super play by Gavin Howard to quickly end the inning for Team Francisco. And I think that's one of the things that really kind of, and you make it out here a lot more than Jason and I do, but we've really been astounded by the level of play that we've seen here in this tournament.
Yeah, and the best part about being up in this bird's eye view booth here in this special setting is getting to see this angle.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I'm on the ground level with the team and sharing all the things to do on the marketing side. It's cool to come up here and see this from this perspective.
It's fascinating. Playing host to so many teams in so many different ways has just been, it's really cool that you guys are able to absorb that and do that.
And we're joined by Stephen Schumacher here between innings as we head to the bottom of the 5th momentarily. And Talk about what this means for this area in regard to the future. What's next on the horizon?
Yeah, that's one of the best parts about being in this role is seeing the future and the team at LakePoint, what they see as far as growing this campus and all the sports they have and the future possibilities. But the hotel footprint, we have 31 hotels in Bartow County, and it expands beyond that in this region, what LakePoint brings in here too. We even have a really neat spot called Pine Acres Retreat, which is an outing retreat facility on our Lake Allatoona. And we're actually looking to get some glamping sites in there. Have you ever done glamping before?
I have not.
That's a really cool feature, and we're hoping to get some of those sites.
Well, tell me what it is.
Yeah,
since
so
I've
it's
never
basically
done it.
bougie camping. So if you ever wanted to go camping but not really rough it, they have these pre-set up tents with really nice bedding inside. It's actually air conditioned, which is really cool. So it's glorified camping to that
That's
extent.
what I like. I like that kind of thing. Let's take another look at that double play pulled by Gavin Howard here, Jason, to end the top half of the fifth.
Oh, you got to love the move to the left, and then the fancy footwork here. You can see that's pretty impressive to be able to hit that and keep his stride going. The little stutter step right there, kind of an instinctual play. Just very athletic is Howard at shortstop, and really a vacuum cleaner as far as the glove goes.
Jackson Kramer batting for the first time since he came in to play third base, as the Aces lead this national championship game by a score of 6-2. And you know, this is a tournament, a big tournament. It's been here since Thursday, but this is they turn it over. They have tournaments here all the time, all kinds of different sports. So for Cartersville and Bartow County, this is a year-long thing. This the year-long benefit of LakePoint sports.
Absolutely, and to have this type of complex and this entire campus in such a small community that used to be a more rural spot in Metro Atlanta, and it's grown exponentially. When I first moved here, I moved right into the city. This, to me, was the country. I did not know where Bartow was. This is quite a hike to come out here and to see it grow so fast.
And that's going to be a base hit, infield hit.
So I've seen it grow so much from the outside, then to come in here and see how Metro Atlanta has expanded all the way out to Bartow County. 40 minutes into the city sounds like a hike, but with the growth of Atlanta, and so in the last 10 years, this actually has now become part of a greater metro area.
Yeah, it really has. There's not much of a break. There's not that like a big space of nothingness in between the city and here. It really has just kind of grown and developed and been able to absorb 2.5 million extra visitors. That's very impressive.
Throw into first, and it's going to be close as Kramer is able to get back in under the tag.
We're situated nicely, too, between two baseball, megas with the Braves obviously down at Truist, and then the Rome Braves are just 25 minutes west here. My staff is going there this evening for our staff outing, and I'm throwing out the first pitch. Do you have any advice for me?
Just get it to the plate.
Okay, that's what I figured. Okay.
Just don't bounce it to the plate.
Don't leave it short.
All right.
And don't throw it over the catcher's head either.
Nice and easy.
From the rubber, too, right?
Yeah.
Don't want to stand
Oh,
in
no,
front.
yeah, you got to go all the way back.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. My daughter will be there with me. She's 5, so if I do anything poorly, it'll be like one of those locked-in memories forever, and she'll tell her friends about how poorly I feel.
I remember when my dad threw out the first pitch and didn't get it to the plate. Bouncer on the infield, backhanded by the shortstop. No play. That's going to be an infield hit for McCorkle. Third hit for him in the game.
Well, and the Aces just continue to put pressure on Team Francisco here, just finding a way to put the ball in play. Not much you can do, not much for Fajardo to do right there. A perfectly placed ball just out of the reach of Hancock at third. A little bit too lengthy of a throw for Fajardo to make.
Now, did I hear you say earlier one of the pitchers here is one of the top-rated class of 2025 pitchers?
Yes, Brandon Moss for the Aces National. He's not pitching today. He pitched yesterday. Threw it up, about 95 miles per hour. Was a DH here earlier in the game, but rated the #1 right-handed pitcher in the state of Florida, number 12 in the country among rising juniors, the class of 2025, and he's already committed to the Florida Gators.
That's incredible.
In fact, this Aces national team has 7 major commitments on their team, 5 of them to SEC schools.
Wow.
But, you were talking about all the museums here, Stephen Schumacher, who's the president of Cartersville and Bartow County Tourism. You're talking about all the museums. how long before there's a Hall of Fame museum for Trevor Lawrence?
Well,
this is the hometown,
right.
the home
That's
county of Trevor Lawrence. He played his college football, high school football, probably about 15 minutes from here
right.
for the Cartersville Purple Hurricanes.
What's funny, too, is you actually we have a lot of travelers that are from Jacksonville or on their way home coming from wherever they are that'll stop by Cartersville and take selfies in front of the high school, sign that says Cartersville High School and stop in. And it's a pretty neat thing to see such a great talent from this community rise up and become an NFL starting quarterback for the Jaguars. And we're going to certainly look into trying to connect that a little bit more as he continues to grow and hopefully wins an MVP and maybe even a Super Bowl one day.
Yeah,
so
I know that he does come back to the community.
He does.
He's very much involved in the community where he grew up, and he stays very connected to Cartersville High School.
And his family's great, and his family's very well connected to a lot of people in the community grew up with them, and so they find it interesting and almost strange to see him become who he is today, being the kid 10 years ago that was playing at these fields and at the parks here in Cartersville. So
well, here's Gavin Howard with the bases loaded. We've seen what he's done with the glove today, and now he's got a chance to really put a dent in this game with his bat. In fact, with the run rules, if he hit a grand slam here, and that's a big if, it would end the game. So we are in that position already here in the game with a 6-2 lead for the Aces National.
now, in your time here, have you visited or seen any restaurants, been anywhere since you've been here in the last couple days?
I have not been able to do that yet, but I do know that Doug's Place provided our pregame dinner and meal, and wow, was it spectacular.
Doug's is everything Emerson is, and Doug's is a spot here that it just does wonderful numbers during the peak times of LakePoint, but even in other times as well, from people in the community or locally or in Metro Atlanta. It's incredible food, and a new owner, Mark Sullins, just took over the restaurant and is expanding it, growing it, building a drive-through area to kind of push people along through the lunch hour. So, yeah, Doug's is absolutely delicious.
Bases loaded walk for Gavin Howard, and that makes it 7-2. So that's one of the interesting things about playing in a tournament like this is the run rule. So now you have the potential game-ending run at first base as Frank Wells comes to the plate. He's been on base 3 times today. But Doug's Place, a new local partner of LakePoint, is just 2 miles from this facility. So if you're watching this championship game here today and you have plans and you are going to be at LakePoint in the future for another tournament or even the 16 and under championship next year, that's Doug's Place is a place that you need to bookmark.
And a cool spot that we actually created with partnering with LakePoint inside the Champion Center that we can see here in the distance is the community corner that we partnered with on the marketing side. Erica has been fantastic to work with on the LakePoint team, and it's a spot kind of like a visitor center right within the Champion Center that you can go in. Our website loads up onto a big screen. There's video showing different rack brochures, and eventually we're going to activate that and bring local community people in to kind of showcase their products, just to show them that we have so much to offer here in the community.
That's going to drop in center field. Another run scores, and it's 8-2, and now the game-ending run is at second base.
This will be fun to potentially watch a
walk-off
call here.
Exactly. Well, we are in position for it as there is still nobody out. Looks like Team Francisco is going to make the pitching change right here. But a base hit, 4th on base for Frank Wells today. He's got 2 hits. He's walked, been hit by a pitch, and he has put his team in position to perhaps end the game right here with another base hit.
And I know for future guests when they are traveling here, you can see the building to our left in left field here. That's going to be an Element Hotel, which will be a nice, gorgeous new property that's going to have a rooftop bar as well, slated to open in the early Q1 of next year.
Is the rooftop bar going to face the field?
I'm not exactly sure where
how
it
it's
going to
be
facing.
situated.
Yes,
yeah.
I would hope that'd be neat, and you could also look from your room and get some air conditioning while you're watching the game. But that's going to be prime guest room stays for folks who stay here. You know, the Hampton, you can see in the distance, was the #1 location geography-wise because of where it's located.
Right.
and the mainstay as well. But with this property opening up in Q1, that's going to be a game changer for this campus.
Well, Stephen, thanks a lot for being with us. We really do appreciate it. We're going to step aside for the pitching change.
Sure.
We appreciate you being with us.
Thank you.
Stephen Schumacher is the president of Cartersville and Bartow County Tourism, and we'll step aside as Team Francisco makes the pitching change.
Next. Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one,
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Demetrios Bartas is the next pitcher here for Team Francisco, and you talk about coming in the middle of hot water situation. Next hit might end the game here as the walk-off run rule run is at second base and an 8-2 lead for Aces National.
Got the left-on-left matchup, but nowhere to put him here, nobody out. A lot of pressure here for Bartas to absorb.
Sam Summerlin at the plate, the number 4 hitter for Aces National. Bases loaded, and a 6-run lead for Aces National. Nearly hit him, backs him up off the plate, ends up on his back. Counts 2-0.
It looked like just an arm side breaking ball, kind of stayed up there. And again, it looked like Summerlin was trying to hang in as long as he could, but once he realized that ball was not going to break, got out of there late, saved his noggin.
Inside again, and the count now 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes. Summerlin in there at the plate, trying to end this game and win the championship for Aces National. Backs him out again, and another run in, and now the winning run is at third base. So now 9-2.
And we had mentioned that attrition just getting down there. Long week. The amazing Team Francisco able to get to this point. The Aces just seem to have outlasted them as Bartas just coming in a tough situation trying to command the strike zone here.
And here's Saxton. Pitch missed high. You saw number 10, Gavin Howard. No doubt a candidate for player of the game with what he's shown as a shortstop. He's the winning run down at third base. What would be the run rule? The run rules are 8 runs in 5 innings, and so Aces National with the next run could do that. Saxton misses inside, and it's now 2-0. Just a really tough spot for Bartas to come into.
It is.
Feel for him.
It's been a long journey to get here, and again, just coming in, nobody out. Bases loaded situation against this Aces lineup.
Three balls and no strikes. Bartas has to find the strike zone right here. Infield playing in. And the 3-0 pitch. Ball 4, and that's going to do it. Aces National, the 16 and under PBR national champions, with a 10-2 victory over Team Francisco as Aces National goes 9-0 here at LakePoint Sports.
Yeah, and it's a celebration here. You see the winning run in Howard, or excuse me, that's the winning RBI in Saxton, who actually closed out the semifinal game a few hours earlier. An impressive run there by Aces National. A great job, a lot of prospects we got to see, and Wilcox got them off to a good start. Davis, obviously, with the leadoff triple, kind of set the tone for this game.
They came out of bracket play as the number 3 seed, but on paper they certainly appeared to be the team to beat, and on the field they ended up being the team to beat.
Yeah, fantastic job. A wealth of talent. You mentioned all the D1 players they've got, 5 SEC schools represented and commitments. A couple of players at the peak level at their position for their state as well. So a good team in Aces, and they are the PBR national champions 16U.
Aces National out of Freeport, Florida. The PBR 16 and under national champions. Will have more from LakePoint Sports in Emerson, Georgia right after this.
Next. Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one.
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
So I've been asked a million times, how do I increase my bat speed and my power? That's why we created the Camwood bat. So the Camwood bat allows you to train with a heavy bat without breaking down your mechanics while increasing your bat speed and your power. That is why Mo's 9-year-old son Lee here is able to train with a 35-ounce bat with no issues.
This bat is the best teaching tool for youth players, for coaches, and parents for creating bat speed, bat path, and fast hands.
Order now and get 10% off plus a free 10-day bat speed challenge at camwoodbats.com.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, you'll always find more fun with great brands at the best prices. More of this, and this. So you can get together for a little of that, and a lot more of that. And even some of that, and that's good. Have more fun with great brands at the best prices. Only at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Aces National taking their team photo at home plate with the championship banner. The PBR 16 and under national champions after a 10-2 victory over Team Francisco. Just a solid performance from them all week long, and especially here when you got into the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the national championship game. I think the depth of their roster really showed through.
Yeah, and again, very impressive. A relatively local team when you talk about travel ball. So all these guys, kind of local talents from right around that Panhandle area, have stayed together, played together very well. Got some great defense, good pitching, timely hitting as well. So a really impressive effort from those young men.
Thanks for joining us for the Windscreen Factory post-game show, and our player of the game will be the shortstop, Gavin Howard. I mean, just a spectacular game at shortstop. You oftentimes hear, especially when it comes to football, guys talking about the eye test.
Yeah.
And I thought Gavin Howard, for me today, really passed the eye test.
Yeah, it's impressive when a shortstop makes it look as easy as he did today. A couple of 6-3 double plays, basically, without having to make that throw to the second baseman. Good footwork all around, timed his hops well, picked his hops out very well. Had a couple of good at-bats, ended up scoring the walk-off run there at the end. Just a couple of walks, but definitely looked really stellar out there in the field.
And you can see why his head coach, Coach Chambers, said he's starting to get Power 5 offers. He's a guy that I would not be surprised to see playing SEC, ACC ball in the future.
Yeah, looks good in the box so far. Didn't get an opportunity to really shine, but took his walks where he could and played great defense.
We'll come back and wrap up the Windscreen Factory post-game show and close things out from LakePoint Sports in just a moment.
making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete in all of us.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Back at LakePoint Sports in Emerson, Georgia, where we have crowned our champion in the PBR 16 and under National Championship Tournament. It is Aces National out of Freeport, Florida, with a 10-2 victory over Team Francisco. The Freeport, Florida team winning the championship, going 9-0 here in this tournament, 5-0 in pool play, then 4-0 in bracket play to grab the championship crown.
Yeah, so impressive. 9-0 at any level, really just winning 9 in a row the way that they did. Very impressive. Hats off to Team Francisco going 8-0 to get to this point. Had played some really stellar baseball and obviously just kind of ran out of gas there at the end. Long tournament, tough weather, long travel for them, but a great showing overall for them, just coming up short a little bit in the championship game.
Yeah, an Aces National team that's, been together since 13 and under baseball. So this is the culmination of a lot of, hard work over the last 3 years for these young boys. Yeah, absolutely. Playing together as a team, I thought that was something Coach Chambers really emphasized. These guys are all kind of bought into the team. They'll play a little small ball here or there. Didn't really have to in this game. They were swinging the bats pretty well, playing some good defense. Got a good start from Wilcox. He looked good on the mound. Yep. So really just all facets of the game played very well. Yeah, we didn't see a lot of the small ball. Turns out they didn't need to play that. They were able to swing the bats. But the thing that really did, stand out was the fact that they were able to play defense. They were able to pitch the ball in this tournament. Yeah, and Davis right there kind of got things going there. Bottom of the first inning, he hits the triple, and that kind of set the tone. The rest of the time, they're finding holes, getting those hits when they needed to get those hits, making the pitches when they needed to make the pitches, and ultimately good defense there by Team Francisco late. They got the 4-6-3 to get themselves out of a jam. But ultimately, I thought that the Aces just kind of came out of the gate, set the tone early, and just kept their foot on the pedal. Indeed they did, and the Aces National out of Freeport, Florida, the PBR 16 and under national champions, and that's a good look right there at Gavin Howard, who made it look ridiculously easy at that shortstop position today. Yeah, just nice, easy footwork too. It all just seems so natural, and that's what you talk about when you talk about eye test is stuff like that, stuff you don't necessarily teach, but is instinctual, and Gavin Howard was showing that off today in the field. Well, that's going to do it for us here today at LakePoint. For Mark O'Brien, the president and CEO of LakePoint Sports, Greg Barkoff, David Healy, our producer and director, Scott Hicken, and my partner, Jason Jacobs, I'm Matt Stewart. So long from LakePoint Sports in Emerson, Georgia, and congratulations to Aces National 2025, the PBR 16 and under national champions.